we want more safety in our communities with substantive issues and competency. So case in point, I come from a family of law enforcement. So for me, as a progressive Democrat endorsed by the Progressive Caucus, I talk about this very pridefully, which is to say that it's important that we have trust in our communities. It is a fundamental role of government in keeping our communities safe. The failures of government is when you see the lack of safety of just living in your communities and being victim of home burglaries and basic fundamental quality of life issues. But what is important is that we strengthen opportunities for public safety. So for example, I have championed and authored legislation to increase cultural competency for police officers on certification. We have a program and an entity called POST, P-O-S-T, Peace Officers Standards and Training. So the bill that I passed required sensitivity training for peace officers who are certified by the state of California to understand how to work with members of the LGBTQ plus community. As we know, many issues are advancing in real time. And what was so meaningful to me is that POST and rank and file police officers, the Police Chiefs Association, were in support of these measures because they also want to see the type of public safety and the trust in their communities as well. I also believe that we should increase funding for police departments because we want more training and more sensitivity to best equip them. Because the fact of the matter is, if we go the alternate way and we decrease funding, then there's less response times, there's less qualifications for peace officers in that period of time. And I also want to see, for example, an increase in peace officers reflecting their communities. So, for example, my brother is Asian American, Chinese American, and he now is a peace officer in San Jose. But before, he was a police officer in Oakland, and his beat was in Chinatown, in Oakland, Chinatown. And as you can imagine and appreciate, with underserved communities, maybe there are some hesitations on connecting with police officers because of lack of cultural competency or hesitation in talking to a peace officer who may not speak that same language. There may be language barriers, maybe cultural barriers, but it's important that we strengthen that. So I want to see more peace officers reflecting their communities and also being born and raised in their communities as well, living in their communities, able to afford to live in their communities because they grew up and they have a sense of pride and ownership of those communities as well. And that's what I think is so important for us to be able to help reaffirm about the importance of having peace officers reflecting and looking like their communities as well.